Hello, everybody. Oh, thank you, everyone, for the birthday wishes. That is much appreciated. Today is my birthday, and Jay has already given to the birthday cake fund donation. Let's bring out Zach for a dance. Boop, 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 boop. Well, this isn't working great. Uh, there we go. As you can see, we now have a fancy green screen behind us, but there will be kinks to work out with that. But let's finish the donation dance. Do, 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 do. Woo! Bo, 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 do. Woo! Bo, 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 do, bo, bo, do, bo, do, bo, bo, do, bo. Wah-ha! Yeah, there are many kinks to work out with the green screen, as you can see. But hey, at least it's doing something. Yeah, the green screen is going a little bit nuts. We might have to turn that off. I don't know. Uh, we shall see. Yes, there was a wondering, Tristan. Uh, all right, but we get to start with a birthday puzzle made by Andrewsarchus called 41 is Zeta. Uh, so let's read the rules here. So we have squares. One cell in each row, column, and box is a square, and each of the digits 1 through 9 occurs in one square. The value of a square is the square of its digit, appropriately done. Yeah, Tristan is going to come in here and try and make this less of a thing. Yeah, I think it needs to be less aggressive. Considerably less aggressive. Okay, yeah, Tristan can wear a green suit and make Zach dance. That sounds perfect. Okay, each 41 line can be divided into one or more non-overlapping segments whose value sum to 41. I'm going to get up and let Tristan do his thing.
It was working fine when I had it. Ba-da-ba-ba. Hi, chat. Yeah, I sit down and it works fine. Let's try this.
Yeah, it's still pretty flashy, but like whenever I move, various parts flash in and out. Uh, but this might be almost workable. Why is it trying to get out this? Uh, oh, you want to try again?
Uh, yeah, I don't know. We could just turn turn it off and
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
try again. It likes me just fine. It's you.
Hmm. Let's see how that. Probably just let it be green for today. And I'm sure we can get it set up so that it works.
I could even take this down and have the shelf behind you.
That is reasonable. Yeah.
It's a disaster.
Good, good, good. Yeah, I'm wigglier. That is very possible. That is the thing. Uh, okay, so we need our 41 lines. And so sandwich, and then we have sandwich clues, our cells with values of 1 and 9. So the squared 3 could be a sandwich crust. Numbers outside the grid give the sum of the values between the first crust and the last crust in the row or column. Okay. Thank you, Garion. Thank you. Yeah, I think the issue is the chair and that Tristan just covers more of the chair. That is probably true. Uh, yeah, it just needs to be set so that the chair doesn't trigger it at all, probably. But we'll figure it out. Uh, okay, and then we have cages. Values in a cage must sum to a multiple of 41. Digits may not repeat within cages, but values can. Okay, so there are a few places right away where something happens. So, like, this box needs to sum to presumably 82 with this sort of hanging out bit. But maybe it could be even more than that. Who knows? I guess, like, I can't square a 9 anywhere on. So both 9 squared and 8 squared, and 7 squared, actually. 7, 8, and 9 squared are all too large to put on lines at all, right? Because they already sum to more than 41. Does that tell us where they are right away? So, like, this one I was looking at as well. But I think we can probably just place 7, 8, and 9, can't we? Where can they be? Let's see. That could be a 7, 8, 9. That could be a 7, 8, 9. What are the squares outside the grid? I don't know what the squares outside the grid are. I don't think those are in the rules, are they? Oh, they're just saying that the sandwich clue is a multiple of 41. So I think these have to be a 7, 8, 9 triple, if I understand the rules correctly. Because 7 squared is too big, and so are all of these. So we can say none of these things are squarers, nor is anything in the same row as one of these. So that is something. Now, Garion pointed out there's a length 2 line over here, so that is going to need one like that. Oh, Selena points out, Tristan, that we don't have a Discord ping. Yeah, if this is 5 squared is too small. Because 5 squared is 25. I would need a 16 here. So indeed, yes, I agree that this is a 6. And we can bring out Zach for the 6y dance. Boop boop boop. Whoop 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 whoop. Boop boop boop. Whoop 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 whoop. Boop 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 boop. Waha! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Okay, so that tells us what this is, because this now has to be a 5 to make the math work. Okay. So I'm still trying to see where in the rules it mentions the squares on the outside of the grid. I don't think it does, but I do think we know what they mean. I think they just mean that the sandwich clue is a multiple of 41. Let's see. So yeah, we do know the sum of all of these digits, roughly speaking. The sum of all of these digits is 45 minus 7, 8, or 9. see, 45 minus 9. Yeah, so these aren't quite that. Uh, let's see. I guess the point is there's no way that these cells sum to 41, but they could easily sum to 41 with this also being there. Thank you, Dorlier. Uh, okay, so does this need to be also? So I need these to sum to at least 82. And the largest number I have available to square is 5. So the question is it possible that this isn't a square? And so 45 plus 45 plus, so Selena has the right math. So it's 45 plus 9 here, if I don't make this a square, plus, and then 5 is the largest number I can square, so plus 20. And we just don't have enough there because 45 plus 9 plus 20 is 45 plus 29, which is 65 plus 9, which is 78. And 78 is not large enough. So we assuredly need this to be... to be in here. Okay, and we do now know this sums to 82. I think I figured that out earlier, but it definitely has to sum to 82. Okay, and so the maximum sum of this line is 65. Because if I square the 5, then I get to 45 plus 20, which is 65. And so that means the value of this cell is minimum 81 minus 65, which is 16 coincidentally. So that means this can only possibly be a 4 or a 5 as it sits. And now the doubler in here, or sorry, the square in here, I think we can do a similar thing with, because we can say, okay, we've got 45 plus 25 at most is 75. No, sorry. 45 plus 25 is 70. So I need the square in here to square to at least 11. So the squares in these two boxes are a 4 or 5 pair. In any event, is what we know. So I can sort of attempt to mark that up here. Okay. Oh, adding to 82, not 81, right? And not... Okay, let me do that again. So it's 45 plus 20 is 6. Sorry, 45 plus 25 is 70. So I need at least 12. So it doesn't change at all. Even though I said 81 and not 82. I just need the square to be at least 12. Okay. So... Oh, does this now need to be bigger? Okay, so now this is a minimum of 65, sorry, a maximum of 65 for this box. And so this needs to be a minimum of 17, you're right. Okay, so yeah, so this is a 5. Okay, yeah, it doesn't work for 82, right? So this is a 5, and so So one of these two cells is a 4. Uh, taking it out of the 45 before you add the square is really confusing. Just say it adds 20. It's much nicer if you just say it adds 20. Row 6, column 6. Okay, let's see. So Martin says these two are too close together because these two, if this is the squared for these two, that would be a 16 plus 25, and 16 plus 25 is 41. There's no way I could make that work, so I agree with that. So we've got that. I agree. Okay, so I need some amount of numbers that sum to 16. It's going to be at least these two, but possibly these 3 that are going to have that sum. Hey, Isaiah, thank you. Let's see. So now I've only got 1, 2, and 3 left, which is kind of interesting in and of itself. This can't really be 9 squared, I don't think, if I am willing to go back and interrogate this, because if this were 9 squared, I would need to make the remaining squares sum to 42, which I cannot. So this is certainly not the 9 squared. This assuredly needs to sum to 82. And then this assuredly needs to sum to 82. So this can't possibly be a 7. 7 would be way too small. Can it even be an 8? 8 is still too small, right? This just has to be a 9, right? Because 64 is just not anywhere close enough. So this has to be a 9 and a 1. Have you met Andrew, Isaiah? Let's see. Okay, so this is not a 9 anymore. Yeah, okay, so Isabella claims 7 doesn't work here, because if this is a 7, then I've got to get these to sum to at least 38, which does not work. So therefore that is an 8, and that is a 7. Okay, and so now this is 64. I'm going to 82. That means these 3 need to sum to 18, I guess. That's not so restrictive. If I did that math right. Let's see. The box 2 square is yellowable. I don't see how. Yeah, we can certainly math out what this digit is. I agree with Emma, because now we know that this sums it's to 82. Yeah, this is tricky. This is the sort of thing I would do with paper normally. So the whole box, I guess this is the way to do it. The whole box sums to 45 plus 42, which is 87. So it's 5 too big. So this is a 5, if I did that right. I think that is correct. Okay. So leftover is 5. Okay, good. Emma agrees. So yeah, so we know that there's not there's only 2 crusts in this column, because remember the only sort of spicy crust is where the 3 is squared. And so what David is pointing out is, sorry, not David, someone is pointing out, Todd is pointing out, is that I absolutely need to have a 9 down here no matter what. Uh, to be the sort of crust of whatever multiple of 41 this is. Okay, so let's see. Right. These sum to 45 minus 9, which is 36, which plus 5 is 41. So we can actually place an X here for a break in the sum. That is a cute observation. Okay. And so now the question is this all one sum or not? I don't think I immediately want to do that math. I think I probably could if I really wanted to, but it probably is not. Okay. Okay, so people want to say the sum here definitely has to be 82 because there's no way it's getting to 123. And so the total sum of everything in this column is 35 plus 56. 35 plus 56 is 91. And we want to get down to 82, which means that the outies have to sum to 9? Yeah, the outies have to sum to 9, right? And so because 9 itself can't be a single outie, that means we need to have a 9 here, if I did that right. And so the outies are either 2, 7 or 3, 6. I don't think we know which one. Emma thinks they know which one, but I don't think they do. Let's see. I can do a little more math on this box, though, because this is now 64 plus 9 is 73, which means that these two add 9 as well. So this digit and that digit are the same digit for whatever it's worth. I might as well catch up that. Why not? If I did the math correctly. We probably know the sum of these digits for what it's worth if we're willing to put in the work to get it. Let's see. There's no way this isn't a crust, right? If this isn't a crust, then I need to fit a sum of 42 over here between two crusts, and there aren't any fancy crusts in this row. So this is assuredly a crust, and so it's a 1, right? Because I can't have outies of... Actually, wait, how does this even work at all? I don't think this row works at all. Isn't this row just broken? Yeah, I think this row is just impossible. Oh, 0 is a multiple of 41. Oh, I see. Yeah, Okay. So yeah, so the 1 and the 9 are next to each other. So this isn't a 1, I guess, is the point. So this is a 2, 3, 4, 6, or 8. Okay. Okay, so in row 8, I guess the question is, can we possibly get to 82? And I think the answer is no, because we've only got, if we summed everything, it would be 35, the normal sandwich total, plus 30, which would be 65. That's not enough. So this is going to be one total sum to 41. So that's already 36. Oh, it could be 0, right? So right. So it could be either of these things, I guess. Could be a 1 or whatever. Yeah, oh wait, right. This one is a 41 clue. This one isn't a square clue. And so yeah, so that's not the 1. And so the 1 is over here somewhere. This isn't the 1 because the number I would need here is a 5. Because the sort of extra things beyond this need to sum to 5. So this has to be a 1, and these have to be a 2, 3 in order to make that work, if I did that math correctly. So these digits out here, these are a 4, 5, a 7, 8. And this is apparently a 4 or a 5. Which I don't think... I was hoping that would tell us that this sum to 9 wasn't a 4 or 5, but I already knew this sum to 9 wasn't a 4 or 5, so sadly that doesn't actually tell us anything. Okay. I do know that whatever this is, it's not crust, for what it is worth. Thank you, Alex. How are you doing? Okay, so... Am I positive that the crust in column 9 isn't a squared 3, though? I feel like this crust in column 9 could still be a squared 3. Let's see. I do know this isn't a crust. In this row... Yeah, in this row, I actually need the square to be inside the sandwich. Because, again, I only have 35 as my sum. I guess I don't need the square to be inside the sandwich. But I need, if I don't have the square inside the sandwich, I need these to be a 3-9 pair. Because because basically I could only get to 35 if I didn't do something with the square. And so the things I do with the square are either square the 3 so that the 9 counts as inside the sandwich, or just include the square in the sandwich. 4, though, isn't enough. So actually, these are always the 3 is always over here at the very least, I'm willing to say. Because 35 plus... 35 plus 6... Oh, 35 plus 6 is 41. 35 plus 6 is 41. So I actually need it to be the case that these are a 3-9 pair, because there need to be no outies in this row. And so this needs to be a 1, right? And I don't really care about the rest of the row. Oh, nice. So that at least answers where the 3 is, and so the 1 and the 2 are the only remaining things. Oh, you're right. The 9 could be anywhere if the 3 is here. Right. Okay, yeah. So it's only if the 3 is here, then that has to be the 9. Right. You are correct. Okay. But this is still a 1, right? That's still a 1. So one of these two is a 1. Right. So now Selena is saying, now this whole box, we know its sum. The sum of the whole box is 45 plus 6 is 51, which means that these two need to sum to 10 exactly. So this is not a 5, because it would require a second 5. And this is 2, 3, or 6, but it can't be 3 because we already said the 3 is down here, so this can't be 7. So this is a 2 or 6 with a 4 or an 8. Let's see. Interestingly, I know the 8 is down here always. So if this is the 4, then that's the 8, which I don't think really does anything, but sure. And this is the row where I know the 1 and 9 are next to each other, but I don't think that helps me yet. The small box 2, 3 line can work without a square, right? We've got... What are the squares we have left? We have a 2 and a 1 left. And the 1 square doesn't even do anything. And the 2 square only adds 3. Yeah, I'm looking at like Sudoku stuff. Like, if this isn't a... If that's not exactly the same as this digit with this being doubled, then this has to go there. So the only world where that works is the world where this is a 2, I suppose. Otherwise, this just goes there. Let's see. Joel wants to prove that this can't sum to 82, which is, I guess, fairly easy because I know the total sum of all the digits in these boxes is only 90, and there's already more than 8 that are off of it. So yeah, so this does indeed sum to 42. So, sorry, 41. 41. So if I do this, then this is 90 minus 12 is 78, minus 8 is 70, minus 9 is 61, minus 41 is 20, So I think that means the sum of all of these cells is 20, if we did that correctly. And so that's 29. So that means that we need to at least continue 2 more cells, if I did the math right. Because we need to get to at least 12 more. Sadly, I don't know that that actually helps. So these are either 3, 6, or 2, 7. I might as well remind myself. Yeah, right, because of that we already knew. Yeah, we don't know anything about this column. But I might as well fill in that there's a 9 in one of these cells. Oh, let's see. Todd is claiming I can't make this column work without a 3 squared in it. Right, because the total sum of the digits in a column is 35 plus the excess from the square. And 35 plus the excess from the square won't get you to 41 unless the excess from the square is at least 6. And the only square with an excess of at least 6 is 3. So therefore, this is the double 3, is Todd's point. I agree. Okay, so there is 3. And I think that also, again, makes that a 1, because I only exactly get to 41. And so now I know where the 1 squarer is, because the 1 square has to go in one of these white cells that doesn't see a 1 by Sudoku, so it has to be that one. So that's the 1 squarer. And therefore, that is the 2 squarer. Oops. Is the 2 squarer. Oh, and that has placed this 1 for what it's worth. This isn't a 2, so that's not a 7. This isn't a 3, so that's not a 6, for what it's worth. And so this is also a 3, 7. Square dance, indeed. So now this digit really is that digit, for whatever that is worth. Very little, I suspect. Let's see. Now this clue and this clue just are automatically satisfied. This clue we know everything about. Hey, Wooden Pix, how are you doing? Welcome. I think you might be new around here, but feel free to hang out and introduce yourself in chat, if you are so inclined. The row 7 sandwich can't be anything other than 0. Yes, right. This can't be a 1 or a 9, is David's point, by Sudoku, because there's a 9 there. I guess, I mean, this just is a 1, or there's a 1 and a 9 in the box, and this certainly is not the 3 squarer. And so if I tried to make this total anything but 0, the biggest I could do is to put a 9 there and make these 6, 7, 8, which is only 21, which is not particularly close. So therefore, that has to be the 9 for that row. Therefore, one of those is a 9. Okay, this number now is going to be more interesting with the 29 math, because now this number is a 4, 7, or 8. And it's not a 4. So these are 4, 7. This is a 4, 7, 8 triple. But remember, these summed to 29. And so I need a surfeit of 12, or whatever you want to say. So that means that I certainly go actually past these. In fact, the only way I get to 12 is to go all the way to here and make this an 8, a 3, and a 1. So I think that is true. I think Andrew verified the math before it was correct, so I won't redo it. But someone in chat can tell me if it's wrong. To make that work. Okay, so these digits, let's just fill them in, are a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not 7, not 8, and a 9. Okay, and I know that one's not a 9. I know that one's not a 5. I know that one's not a 2. Let's see. 5 and 6 of column 6. Can't sum to 16. Right. So what MECD is pointing out is that now our zeta z is resolved, because we were saying, okay, we've got 25 here. We need 16 more. These can't sum to 16 owing to that 9, but these already sum to 41, so that's too far. So that actually tells us that we get this gap here, and that these 3 cells sum to 16. These, I suppose, are at least 3, 5. So that means this is a most 8. That's not the maximally exciting, I suppose, deduction in the history of the universe, but it is something. There is a 5 in them, though, actually, that I see by Sudoku, so that might actually make it better. So we have a 5 and 2 digits that sum to 11, that are assuredly not 2, 9, and they're not 5, 6. So they're either 3, 8, or 4, 7, and they're not 4, 7 either. So they have to be 3, 8, actually. So I think this has to be 3, 5, 8. Do we agree with that attempted killer calculator head math? Let's see. Okay, so that means one of these two is 1, but I don't think I know which one yet. Okay, but I might as well fill in the rest of these, because these are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so this is a naked single 6. I was sort of hoping I'd get something like that. Okay, so none of these are 6. These aren't 7. I did that right. Right, yeah, those aren't 7. These aren't 1. Okay. Let's see. I probably want to mark these as well while I am at it. Sure. Let's see. That is not a 6. Okay. So I do know the 1 and the 9 in this row are next to each other. So if this is the 9, that's the 1. If this is a 1, it breaks. Because if this is a 1, now these are a 2-9 pair, but now the 1 and the 9 definitely don't go next to each other in the row. So in fact, the 1 is placed here, but that just means this has to be a 9 because the 1 and the 9 are next to each other in the row. So that therefore lets us fill in the rest of this row is 2, 3, 4, 8, I believe. That's not a 3, that's not a 2. Okay. Defeat claims we knew that one of these was a 1 or a 9. I definitely proved that one of these was a 1 or a 9, but David is suggesting I did it in a more convoluted way than was necessary, which sounds like a thing that I would do. Oh, they were both from 129. Yeah, the fact that they're both from 129, I guess, is in a roundabout way, that's what my proof was. But what are we going to do? Yeah, we know that these two are the same digit. Do we want to pencil mark them based upon that? So that means that this is not a 5. This is not a 6. And they can both be, say, red X'd. Yeah, this is because this digit can't repeat in the cage, so it has to go there. Yeah, I noted that earlier, but it wasn't useful at the time. But yeah, we have that. So the 4 in row 2. Oh, right. This cage just sums to 41. And it's an 8-cell cage summing to 41 because the 1 squared is 1. So that means that the digit missing in this 8-cell cage is 4. So yeah, so these aren't 4 is the point. And so there is a 4 in one of these 2 cells. That is the math that people are doing. That is probably a reasonable amount of math to do. Okay. Okay, now Selena would like us to do some math here. So that conveniently is 22. So I need to at least make it up through here because I've still got 20 more to go. So this is 22, and I know these two sum to 10. So if the line continues up this far, then that is 32. If the line doesn't continue up this far, I need these 2 cells to sum to more than 18, so that's a problem. I'm gonna guess we don't do that. So the sum does extend at least that far, and that's 32, which means we need 9 more. So if this were a 2, that would be a 7. If this were a 6, it would mean that was... Oh, if this is a 6, it doesn't work because this can't be... I can't go 2, 1 there. Yeah, if this is a 9, it works, but 6 doesn't ever work. Because if this is a 6, then I would need to sum to 3 after this, and there's no way I can make those cells... Wait, can I? Sorry, maybe I did my math wrong. I think that could just be a 2, couldn't it? Never mind, I think I did my math wrong. Yeah, this could just be a 2. Never mind, sorry. Yeah, I did not do that math correctly. Okay. Visit Roy at Council. No, that's the point. You need to visit this first because you're going for a sum of 3. 1 plus 2. Oh, your point is that if this is a 6, then that's a 2, and so I can't use 2 anymore. Okay, yeah, there's a more convoluted reason why this being 6 doesn't actually work. Because that's 22, that's 32, and so if this is a 6, then we're now at 38. We need 3 more, so we continue here. Now we need 2 more. And now this can't be a 2 because we made that a 6, so that's a 2. So this isn't a 6. Chat has discovered a 2 in row 1, column 8, which maybe makes this slightly easier, but I didn't see that, so we're not going to use it. I wish I could say that was true, Emma. Okay. Okay, Selena is saying this is 2 doesn't work. Because you would need 1 here. And this can't be 6 because of the same 2-6 discrepancy before. So I would need some number of these cells to sum to 6. And Selena is claiming if we look hard enough, that doesn't work. I guess I can sort of just pencil mark these cells to make that maybe more clear. I don't know that made it more clear. Yeah, I guess this cell's value is a little bit large. Oh, this cell's just a 7. If this is a 2, this is what Selena is saying. This 2, if you chase it far enough, tells us that this is a 7. Because if this is a 2, that's a 6, and that's a 4, which makes this a 7. So this is just a nasty look ahead. But it does mean that this is not a 2. This is, in fact, a 9. And so we can sort of try and draw a division there if you want in our line. And so that is not a 9. The point is I would need these cells would sum to 8 when they needed to sum to 7, David, because we go through this cell. Okay. Andrew is suggesting that we're perhaps unnecessarily torturing this thing when we don't need to. Let's see. Wooden Picks is looking at row 5. Oh yeah, we can certainly knock out the 2 and the 7 from this. Okay, so yeah, so that's 25. No 8 at row 5, column 6. Okay, right. So yeah, so this is definitely inside the sandwich, is Wooden Pick's point. And in fact, all of this is definitely inside the sandwich. And so that's already summing to 25 plus 9, which is 34. If this were an 8, it would be too big. So this is a 3. Very good. So these are a 5, 8 pair, which means there is no 8 in any of these cells. Okay, and so now the sum of these is 25 plus 9 is 34 plus 3. 34 plus 3 is 37. So that means the last digit I get in this sandwich is a 4. So this digit has to be a 1, 4, or 9, and it can't be a 1 or a 9, so this has to be the 4, I think is how this works. So that means this is a 1 or a 9. It's just because the remaining cells sum to 4 and I can't use a 1. Either because there's already a 3 there or because 1 is a crust or whatever. Okay, so this is not a 4. Okay, and now this cell is a 1, 9, and it's not a 9, so it's a 1. And that's a 9. I think I did that math correctly. Let me know if I did not. So that makes that a 9. And so now this is the other 6, 8. Okay, that agrees with David's math that said that the outies... I didn't do this row by outies. I did this row by innies. But David's statement was that the outies needed to sum to 14, and they do. So that's a promising combination. Okay, this has, I am told, placed the box 6, 1. It has, and that is the last 1 in the puzzle. let's see. Okay, so now, yeah, if we look at this row now, we know where the sandwich crusts are. And so now that we know where the sandwich crusts are, now we can say the whole row sums to 35 plus 12 is 47, which is 6 more than it should be. So that's a 6 and that's an 8. So those are a 2, 3, 4 triple. That makes that an 8 and that a 6. This is now just a 7 because we've got the 2, 3, 4 triple over there. This isn't a 7 anymore, and this isn't a 3 anymore, but these two are the same digit, so now they can only be 8. Let's see. And now we've got a bajillion 8s looking at this box, points out Jean, which places an 8 here, which places a 2 here, because remember, these two added to 10. So that's not a 2, and that is. Let's see. Could probably just like fill in these digits just for funsies. Okay, and so that will tell me that this digit's a 6, which I presume if I'd have just said something about 6 by Sudoku, it would have been clear. Maybe it's not as clear, but the only place in this row for a 6 is there, because neither of these can be 6 for some reason. Yeah, that can't be 6 because of that. That can't be 6 because circlage. And so, yeah, there's a hidden 6 in this row completely at random. And so if we see the completely random thing, then we know that this is a pair that are 5 and 9. So no 9 there. We can fill in the rest of this box now. Sure. We know this isn't a 4 because of the corner marked 4 looking over. Let's see. Oh, this digit seems to have been sven to a 5 by the magic of the 8s over there. So this is a 4 or a 7 just by the column. These cells. So what Mekti has spotted basically is that this is a 3, 4, 5 triple. So that's a 2 and that's an 8. I think Mekti spotted it by spotting it as a hidden 8, but same idea. Okay, we can fill in these. It was a little grosser than I was hoping for, I'm not going to lie. These are a pair. I probably should fill those in. Those are just a 2, 3, so that's not bad. So I have a virtual 2, 3 pair here, if you want, because I know there's a 2 or 3 in my sum to 9, and there's a 2 or 3 here, so this can't ever be a 3. So it is always a 6 or a 7. Let's see. Okay. Andrew has a good point, which is that red circle needs to go in box 4. And if it is a 3, then it does not go in box 4. Basically, I guess the way I would prefer to say that is that one of these two cells is a 3 and both of them see red circle. That feels slightly more natural to me, but both ways work. And tell you that red circle is not a 3. So red circle is definitely a 7, which makes this a 2. And we can fill in some assorted other shenanigans. No 6 there anymore. No 6 or 7 in either of those cells. No 7 there. No 7 here. That's a 4 or 5 pair, so that's the 3. the 4 and the 7 over here. There's no 6 here, so that's a 3-4 pair, making that a 6 and a 9. Let's see. So this is a 3, 4, or 5 that's definitely not a 4, so this is only a 3 or a 5. It's not a 4 because the 4 in the box is over down there, so this isn't a 4 because now one of these two is a 4. Yeah, one of those two is a 3. I already know that. Right. This whole line needs to sum to 41, and so we can solve for the value of this digit. So let's see. 14, 24, 30, 32, 36 makes this a 5, and that a 4. So that is a 4. That did remarkably little for us. Let's see. Okay, none of these lines matter anymore. We can get rid of these and get rid of these. Streaming Ice Cube would like us to consider the map on this line. So that's 23. And so these sum to some multiple of 41 plus 18. So presumably that multiple is 18. And so if I don't use a 7, I can't get to 18. And so I have to use the 7 here. And so if I have to use the 7 here, I don't use it there, because 2 plus 6 plus 5 is not big enough, is the point. So that's the 4, making that the 7, and not the 4 over there. Okay, one of these is a 7, and then I need two numbers that with 7 add to 18. Well, 2 is... Sorry, with 7... Sorry, I need two more digits that add to 11 to go with the 7. And 2 is not one of them because there's a 9 there. So this is a 7, a 6, and a 5, and it's the 6 and the 5 that do it. We've got these digits. That seems to be a 3 and a 2. That seems to be a 3 and a 5. That seems to be a 7. That seems to be a 7 and a 2. Okay, and now we have this 41 line, which if we follow it far enough along, will tell us which way this 3-4 breaks. Oh, we can do it with the cage math. So I don't have to follow that line at all. Okay, good. So the cage math here is that this is 14. Right. Sorry, the cage math here is that there's not a 4 in this cage. Right. So we did this before. So there we go. We get that. Very nice. It was a little strange to have the 7, 8, 9 square triple placed right away. But very nice sort of flow overall between the various pieces. If I had to pick one to get rid of, I would definitely have gotten rid of the sandwich part. Like I think the rest of the puzzle was strong enough; it did not need that. But very cool overall. I enjoyed the interaction between the sort of the things that, like, I've occasionally thought about like a doubler 10-line puzzle, but that really doesn't work because it doesn't work super well because you double a number that's more than 5 and it already can't go in a 10-line or whatever. I tried to set a doubler 20-line puzzle at once, but then I ended up just setting a 20-lines puzzle. I like the idea of the square. The square is nice because, especially since squaring, not that we used it, but squaring preserves parity. And so preserving parity is a nice feature for you to have when you're working with something like doublers. Alrighty, though. I am going to take a quick break, and I'll be back in just a moment. So see you all shortly. Welcome back. Oh, I see that Plonk Time has given a donation. Thank you, Plonk Time. Let us get a donation dance for Plonk Time. Boop 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 boop. Woohoo! Boop 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 boop. Woohoo! Boop doop boop boop doop boop woohoo! Boop 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 boop. Woohoo! Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Plonk Time. Hugely appreciated. I realized that I saw that and came back and hadn't actually picked out a next puzzle yet, so you're going to have to hold for a second while I go and dig us out a puzzle. Let's see. I know that Simon did this one somewhat recently, but it's my birthday, so I'm going to do it anyway. So we have Yin-yang by Timotab. Absolute thumbs up on the title, by the way, Timotab. Or sorry, Tim Otab. I am in my head every time I read the screen name. I start like singing the Timasil song from Arrested Development, if anyone knows that. Oh, Tristan wants the grid adjusted. Oh, how on earth did that come up? Yeah, I don't know how that got so fucked up. Let's see. Yeah, there's serious issues with this. I don't know if I can fix this. Let's see if I can figure out which one is the right window. Is it that? It is that. How did that get so screwed up? What's going on? Is this something to do with like the plugin not working or something? I don't know. Wah. That's still too big. What? There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay. We have made it. Okay, so at some point I was doing a Roggen puzzle, and someone in chat, I don't remember who, suggested the idea that you could have a yin-yang puzzle where which side of the yin-yang it was in decided whether the clue was right or wrong, which seemed like a fantastic idea. So let's read what we have here. So we have normal Sudoku rules. We have normal yin-yang rules, so we need to shade some cells so that all shaded cells are orthogonally connected. All unshaded cells are orthogonally connected. No 2x2 area is fully shaded or fully unshaded. A clue in cells that are all shaded or all unshaded is right. And a clue that has at least one shaded cell and at least one unshaded cell is very, very wrong. See below for the exact definition of wrong. Right cages sum to the claimed total. Right Renbon form a set of non-repeating things. Right Nabners, right quadruples. Okay, so now wrong cages have the wrong sum. Wrong Renbon are a little bit weird. So it's not just that it's not a Renbon. Wrong Renbon have no 2 digits on a purple line can be consecutive. That is to say that they are Nabners, almost. And n digits, so they are Nabners. Wrong Nabners form a set of non-repeating consecutive digits in any order. So that is to say they're Renbon. And digits in a quadruple circle must not be placed in the 4 cells that are touching it. So right away, all the quadruples are wrong. And so that's because I can't make a 2x2 all the same color. So we automatically have to make it so that the 1, 2, 3, and 5 are over here. Now, the other thing I see is that these pairs of cages can't all be correct. So that is to say, if this were correct, it would be 8, 9. If this were correct, it would be 7, 9. If this were correct, it would be 1, 3. If this were correct, it would be 1, 2. And so that means that we actually have to have a break somewhere in here and a break somewhere in here. And so by the connectivity part, that means that we get all of this shading is done for us. And again, that's because of the connectedness part. Namely, because all the unshaded stuff is connected and all the shaded stuff is connected, we can only have one contiguous grouping along each edge. And so we can fill in some of these, like that and that. Should be gray. So these can't be both right, so they have to be both wrong, is the thing that I'm noticing. Because if one of these is right, the other is also right because the whole box sums to 45. And also, conveniently, 15 plus 15 plus 15 is 45. So if this is blue, the puzzle instantly breaks. So this isn't blue. And so that is blue. This blue has to get out. This can't be blue for the same reason we just said. So it's gray. This blue still has to get out. let's see. If they were both right, oh, they could both be right as long as, sorry, they could both be right as long as it was blue, blue, and gray, gray. Right, sorry. Yeah, one can be wholly blue and one can be wholly gray. You're right. Um, oh, Andrew has donated. It says, "Happy birthday, Zeta." Thank you, Andrew. Let us get a donation dance for Andrew. Boop 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 boop. Woohoo! Boop 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 boop. Woohoo! Ba da ba da ba da ba da. Woohoo! Ba ba da ba da ba da ba ba da ba ba da ba. Woohoo! Huge thanks, Andrew. Greatly appreciated. And thank you for the puzzle, by the way. I guess another easy thing is that this has to be gray because we know that these are all correct. So these are from 1, 2, 4, 8 and include a 2 and a 4. And this is now a black dot without 2, 4. So it's a 3, 6. So we can do that. I think I think I can get some sort of quintuple if I really try over here. But I don't know that I really want to try that hard. Josh wants me to fill in this. So yeah, so this is a 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So just owing to the fact that that's the only way that you can make this work. And we know the 3 isn't here. So the 3 we know is here, which means we know the 4 cage is wrong because it has a 3 in it. And so therefore we need to continue our gray over here. So there is a 3 here. Let's see. Yeah, so the other Nabner has to be correct because if it was wrong, it would be a Renbon. That's certainly true. Because there are no odd digits left. And now we have to avoid a 2 by 2. Let's see. Okay, I know that this is from 1, 2, 4, 8 because of the fact that there's a 3 looking at it. This 3 cage is now correct, so it's 1 plus 2. And so that makes this a 4, 8, which does make this dot a 3, 6. Very nice, very nice. There's no 1 or 2 over here. There's no 5 here. Oh, where's the 6 in this row? The 6 in this row is definitely in the 4 cage, for what it's worth. Which tells me what this quadruple is. Because these digits aren't 1, 2, 3, 5, or 6, because the 6 in row 9 is in this box. So these are 4, 7, 8, 9. We know exactly what they are. And so we can therefore fill in the same information for these. And say that these digits are now 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. And we know that the 6 is over down here, and we know that the 3 is over up here. And we know that these aren't the 1 and the 2, actually, so actually, because there's a 1, 2 pair here, so actually these just are a 5, 6 pair, apparently. So that's not a 5. And these aren't 5 either. So there's a 5 going up vertically. I can get rid of the 6 pencil mark now, I believe. Also, there's not a 1 over here, while we were talking about things that aren't things. So those are actually a 1, 5 pair, which means that these are a 2, 4, 8 triple. which always has a 4 in the middle, and that is our first digit. And we can bring out Zach for the 4 dance. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Much appreciated. Okay, so these aren't 4s. This is the other 7, 9. And now that's cute because it tells me the 16 cage has to be wrong, because the only way to make a 16 cage is as 7 and 9. And so if this were correct, it would make that impossible. So that means that this cell is in fact blue, which makes this blue. And now this is right. So it's 8, 9. There's a 7 and a 9. Like that. Okay. So I agree with Emma that this Renbon now has to be correct, because remember, incorrect Renbon are Nabners in this puzzle. And so if this was incorrect, we would need to make a Nabner that had a 1, 2, and 3 on it, which would be problematic. Can't do that. So in fact, that's true. And all of this is gray, which means these are blue and that is blue. And now this is blue by the fact that you aren't allowed to put checkerboards into yin-yang puzzles, again, because of sort of connectedness stuff. I have sort of started every other time going over all the secrets of yin-yang rather than repeating them every time, but can do that so that we can do that. And so now that makes this Renbon correct, and so it has to be 6, 7, 8. Like that. Okay. Zombie Hunter points out that this Renbon is also correct, as is that one for that matter. But this one, if you look at it, can only be 7, 8, 9, because the 3 and the 6 aren't available. And so maybe the easiest way to say it is every Renbon has a multiple of 3 on it, and the multiples of 3, 3 and 6 are not available. So the only multiple of 3 available is 9, and so therefore this is a 7, 8, 9, which makes that a 4 and an 8. This 9 cage is correct, and it's not 3, 6, 4, 5, or 1, 8. So I think 2, 7 is the only combination that is left, if I recall correctly. Tallcat one-upping Andrewsarchus. Thank you, Tallcat. Have some more birthday cake. Thank you, Tallcat. Let's get you a donation dance. Woo! Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Woohoo! Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Woohoo! Thank you, Zach. And huge thank you to Tallcat. Greatly appreciated. This 9 cage is also correct. So that makes that a 2 and a 7, because the 1 in this cage is gone, which makes that an 8. Makes this not a 2. Oh, so also this 2, 7 pair seems to have made that a 1 and that a 2, although I guess we could have gotten that in a bunch of different ways. Okay, so now these numbers, I want to write in what they can be, because they can be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 9. And we know that these aren't 1, 2, or 3. So these are a 4, 9 pair in that order. And so those aren't, that's not 4 or 9. In fact, sorry, this is not 4 or 9. It is 2 or 3, and this is not 4 or 9 either, because there's a 7, 8, 9 triple in the box. These are a pair of something and something. 2, 3, 4. They're a pair of 5, and that 2, 3 pair, by the way, looks down. I didn't notice it was a 2, 3 pair right away. 5 and 9 is what seems to be hanging out over here. The 5, 9 looks over at that, and looks over at that, which then bounces back and looks over at that, if I fill it in correctly. These are a triple, which we should probably fill in, not 7, 8, or 9. 1, 2, and 5. 1, 2, and 5 add to 8. So these two need to add to 7 in order to make the 15 cage work. And the only available way to add to 7 is 3, 4. And I actually know the order because of this 2, 3 pair. So in fact, that's a 4 and that's a 3. And that tells me what digits are on this correct Renbon. Namely, these have to be a 5, 6 pair. And I actually know the order on that as well. So we can do all of that. Okay, so now these are from 6, 7, 8, 9. Those aren't 7. These aren't 8 for what it is worth. This is the other 1, 2 for the row for what it is worth. Laura pointing out, oh, but this black dot is wrong. Right, so these are 4, 6, 8, but this can't be a 4 because that would make it correct. And it can't be an 8 because Sven says so. So it's a 6, which gives me an 8 and a 4 over here, which gives me a 9 and an 8 up there. Okay. Oh, well, this Nabner has to be correct because it's not going to be a Renbon. I guess that doesn't immediately tell me as much as I would hope. It tells me that this can't be a 2 or a 3 or an 8. I guess it does tell me this can only be 1 or 7. Oh, Ken. Oh, thank you, Ken. In preparation for next year's cake. Oh, boy, we're already contemplating 42. I guess Tristan is 42 as of a couple days ago. So let's get a donation dance. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Ken. Huge thank you. If you make your next year cake, that might be hardtack. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, Tristan got me a surprise chocolate cheesecake for my birthday, which is fantastic. Chocolate cheesecake is my personal favorite kind of cake. So I am quite happy about that. Okay, I'm contemplating if I know whether this is right or wrong. I do know whether this is right or wrong, actually. This has to be wrong. And the reason why I know this has to be oh, sorry, no, it doesn't. Sorry, I was going to say there would need to be a 2 and a 3 on it. But that's not true, because it could be 3, 4, 5, 6. I think is possible. It would certainly be blue in that case. Let's see. I guess I should fill in this quadruple, shouldn't I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that one's not 1 or 4. It's not 4. That one's not 4 either. Oh, well, Laura points out if I look at column 6, there's only a 6, a 7, and an 8. But this box already has a 6, so that's a 6. And these are a 7, 8, which makes that a 5. And as soon as this is a 5, it makes this Renbon correct, because it can't be a Nabner. And so if it's correct, that makes that a 4 and that a 7. Very good. So that's not an 8. That's not a 7. So there's my 6, 9 pair. And so there are my 7 and my 8. And so these are indeed both wrong, as previously noted, but no one believes me. So that is a gray, that is blue, that is gray in order to facilitate that. That's blue. That's not a 5. That's not a 5, apparently. Oh, because there's a 5 in the box, I see. So that is a 9 and a 5. Okay, and so now this is also correct because it's got a 4 and a 5 on it, and so now it has to be blue. There is no other universe, and this needs to be gray to avoid a 2 by 2. So that's a 6 and that's a 9, we now know. And so now this is correct, and so it has to have a 3 and a 6 on it. So that's a 2 and a 1. So this is correct, so it has to be gray. That's a 7. It can't be a 1 because there's a 2 on the Nabner already. Oh, right. We knew that this was correct because it couldn't be incorrect. We already had noted that. We just didn't know what color it was at the time. So that is an 8. And we now know the color of this Nabner has to be blue. Or sorry, of this Renbon has to be blue. Owing to that. Wow, Josh has been a member for 29 months. Next year, Josh will be at 41 months on my 42nd birthday, provided that that is the birthday that I am. But my father said this is the year I'm supposed to start lying about my age, so we'll see what birthday I choose to celebrate next year. But maybe I'll just choose something that I think will lead to the best puzzles, like my 24th birthday. I bet 24 puzzles would be pretty good. Alrighty, but let's get a windmill dance. Boop boop ba doo woohoo! Boop boop ba doo woohoo! Boop boop ba doo woohoo! Boop boo doo boo doo boo doo boo doo boo boo doo boo wah! Thank you, Zach. Thank you, and huge thank you to Josh for the support. I see Sven is telling me about this digit. It helps if you only fill in one digit in the box. We do need to make sure we don't put a 10 in this cell accidentally. Would be a problem. Okay, the 2 in this box isn't in any of these cells, so the 2 is in one of these cells. I probably could have used that to make a Zach wing or something. Let's see. Let me fill in this column just to see what Mark has to say. Those are a 1-2 pair, so that is a 3. So that is not a 3. Okay. I know, right? So if this is a true Renbon, that's a 4, and this is gray. For what it is worth. Let's see. Right. None of these cells can be 9. So, in fact, that's the 9. Is 57 Thorns and Laura are teaming up to tell me that. Because the quad is always wrong, right? So, yeah, this blue in row 6 must do connected things. Sorry, avoid a 2 by 2, avoid a checkerboard. Makes that a 7 and a 9. That gray has to keep escaping. Tells you the Renbon is right because of the 4. Question mark? Okay, those are a 3-5, so that's a 6. Okay, so yeah, so Tallcat is telling me I'll know what's happening if I fill these in, because these aren't 1, 2, and so that is a 4, and that's a 9, which indeed does make this correct, which makes that a 2 and that a 1. Makes that a 2. Sorry, not 2s. Oh, I see. I missed the first message of the tallest of cats. So now this needs to be monocolored, and that color is gray. And that is blue, and so that's gray. That is also gray. That's now blue. Avoid a checkerboard, so that's gray. So that's blue. And so, yes, and this U needs to get out. And so that is blue. And so now I think all our clues. I guess our clues are not quite done, but they will be once I fill in that this digit is a 2, because now this box needs a 2, and there's only one place it can go. And now I think our clues are done, so now I think we can fill in Mark 18535, 14523, 7371. God, Chrome is such a memory hog. I don't understand how Chrome manages to do that. That was a beautiful execution of this idea. Really nice to be able to, at a 2-star difficulty level, do this. Super smooth all over. Hey, Soothsayer, welcome. Great to have you here. Yeah, I started using Opera, which seems to do a little better at constraining memory use. Yeah, this puzzle was super fun. I enjoyed that. Yeah, it's not super easy to do this idea at an intro level. Uh the idea of Nabners and Renbon sort of are flip flopped. I didn't like it first, but the way it sort of played with the geometry was really neat, and the way it let you sort of deduce things about this was kind of neat. And I liked the Oa quadruple is always wrong because there's no way for it to be the same color. That was also cute. So there were a lot of cute sort of easier deductions, super smooth puzzle all around. So great job for a first time debut of Timotab on here. Oh, and Ken has been a member for 32 months. Let's get you a windmill dance. Boop-a-doop, woo! Boop-a-doop, wow! Boop-a-doop, woo! Ba-doop, boo-doop, 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 wah-ha! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Alrighty, I'm going to take a real quick break, and I'll be back with more puzzles in just a moment, so see you all shortly. Yes, thank you, Timotab. Welcome back, everyone, to a puzzle that I know I'm almost assuredly going to have to... I was going to say I'm almost assuredly going to have to adjust the window, but I actually think it rendered perfectly somehow. This is a deconstruction by AFK. So for the setters among you, I have often spoken in chat about how Japanese sums puzzles are like setting on the easiest possible of easy modes. Like setting Japanese sums. If you are interested in setting and you've not set a Japanese sums puzzle, it is just it is so much easier because nothing ever goes wrong. There's never any deduction in the puzzle that's not there because you put it there, basically. So if you've not tried it, I would recommend it from the setting experience. Now, the flip side of that is that most Japanese sums puzzles, therefore, are not very good puzzles because, again, it's so easy that the setter doesn't really have to put any effort into it. And so often they sort of end up being low effort. And often that ends up being the case because, well, there's no unintentional deductions in there, and so you have to find exactly the thing the setter was thinking in order to make progress, because, again, there's sort of no workarounds in Japanese sums puzzles typically, and so therefore it tends to not be my favorite genre as a solver, although there are some very good setters who come up with really cool stuff that ends up working in these sorts of ways. So, like, I think you can sort of see, or are we dropping frames? Not according to OBS, Tristan. We are not, according to OBS, dropping frames. So I think YouTube is just trying to... YouTube must not like my birthday. Maybe YouTube doesn't like penguins. Not that I'm a penguin personally, but a lot of my best friends are penguins. So anyway, so all of that being said, AFK is a wonderful setter who does cool things, and heard me make this comment and was like, no, it can't possibly be true that Japanese sums puzzles are that easy to set, and then tried to set one and then sent me a message that was basically to the effect of, you are completely right, absolutely, they are that easy to set. So we will do our best to do this, but this has been a very with a combination of this with a deconstruction idea is one that I think I've only done one puzzle before with rules that are similar to this. Now, I will say I'm surprised that with a rule set this tight that it ended up not being too bad to set, because I would have worried a little bit about the geometry here. But let's do it, because it seems like there's going to be some cool geometry. All right, so you want to fill 81 cells in the grid with the digits from 1 through 9. So they form 9 orthogonally connected regions. So we can have our regions. But note there are way more than 9 cells, because I think we're 12 by 12. I think I did this before. Yeah, I did that before. We're 12 by 12 here. So we got 144 cells, and we're only filling 81 of them. And the regions can't orthogonally touch. So that is also going to be very helpful. Oh, bye, Daniel. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks for the birthday wishes. Hope you have a good night's sleep and a good day at work tomorrow. And so clues outside the grid give the sums of all contiguous blocks of digits within their respective row or column. A question mark replaces exactly one such clue. And notably, question mark here doesn't mean it's a single digit, as it does in some puzzles. And ellipses replace 0 or more clues. So basically, this ellipsis here means I'm not telling you anything. And this 15 followed by an ellipsis. So the ellipses are part of what makes it so flexible when setting these things. Okay, so it is worth noting that, yes, the digits in this column do sum to a pretty big number, because that's already 29. It's already 38. So the quote-unquote outies, the digits that don't appear in this column, sum to 7. And so they could be... well, 2 is definitely in the column, because there's a 2 in the column somewhere. If you want, we could actually work it out. So we have 2 digits on, and then a digit off, at least 2 digits on, and then a digit off, and at least a digit on, and then a digit off. So one of these things down here is a 2, in terms of where the earliest this 2 could appear is. We could do something like that, and I might be able to do better, 1 cell better if I wanted. If I look at this column, it also ends in a 2. And the 2s can't be in the same region. That is true. Okay, so yeah, so Isabella actually already says the thing that I was like, maybe I could do this. Yeah, so when I minimize this at 2 and this at 1, which is true separately but not together, because the 2-cell way of making 16 is 7, 9. So that can't actually be the 2. And so we've got a 2 in one of these cells. Okay, so for this column, we've got a 1-cell 6, a 2-cell 6, and a 1-cell clue of some other, plus a gap. So we know the 2 has to live in one of these things. And so now I want to think about if this can really be a 2. And the answer is it could be if that exactly was a 2. Because of the thing I'm thinking about is the oh wait, actually. Yeah, so sorry, I don't think it can be. I think this can't be a 2 because this 2 wouldn't have anywhere to grow. That's just what I was thinking about, Josh. So if this is a 2, yeah, I was thinking, oh, this could be a 2 and grow out that way. But if it grows out that way, then this isn't a 2 clue, it's something else. So actually, this really can't be a 2. Right. There's also another there's a much simpler problem, is what Emma is pointing out, that I'm thinking about this in a really complicated way. But the clue in column 1 has to escape out through column 2, which is going to put a clue in column 2, and there are no ... in column 2. Also, I'm sure K&T has puzzles with ... in them. But K&T is an absolute master with Japanese sums puzzles. But anyway, that means the escaping out must be one of these clues. So this 2, despite what it looks like, is actually above this 2. So in particular, this 2 isn't any of those places. It's that place. And we can bring out Zach for the 2 dance. Ba-boop doop, dooka, dooka, dooka. Ba-doop ba-doop, dooka, dooka, dooka. Ba-doop ba-doop, dooka, dooka, dooka. Ba-doop. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. And so we know that this is in some region or another. We know that cell is not in any region, or it would contribute to this sum. And we know this 2 is not in any region, or sorry, this can't be the 2 because it would have to escape up. So this is a 2, and it is in some region. We'll make it red, and we know that there is a gray above it and grays below it, and so that cell is also red. And so this is part of a 6 clue, and so if I look at what it could be 6, it could be 1, 5. It can't be 2, 4 because that would repeat the 2 inside of red. However, it's not 5 or 6 because it's actually part of a 6 clue in this direction as well, and 5 or 6 would make it add to too much. So in fact, that's a 1, which means the red extends up there. And so now this just has to be a 5 because I can't do 2, 3. or anything else. So that's a 5, and that is gray. I do agree that yellow is not a 2-cell region. Or sorry, yellow isn't a 1-cell region. And in fact, actually, it even has to extend one more, at least, to get to my 15, which is over there. This is a 22, so that needs to extend at least 2 more over here. 8, 9, yeah, 8, 9 would do it for sure. Let's see. Okay, now, do I actually have to minimize this? I might actually have to minimize this now in order to get all of these in here, because I have 2 grays at the bottom. So again, it's 13, 16, and 7. Yeah, this has to be in a region, I think is what I am coming to the conclusion of. Because basically I can't get to this sum without using 6 cells. If you want. Because this sum, basically just, you could even do this just with straight Sudoku math. These sum to 36. And 36 you can't get to in 5 digits, because the most you can get to in 5 digits is actually 35. And so therefore, if this is... so therefore, I need at least 6 digits and 2 gaps, which is to say I need at least 8 cells. So that's this. So anyway, so this is in a region, which also includes that. And we know it doesn't include that. I know it also includes this because of connectedness, by the way. And this is in a region which is also going to include that. And I know it's not a 3-cell sum to 7 because of the 2 down there. So the green extends over into this cell. And now I know there's only a 1-cell gap, and then there's a 16 sum here, which can be orange. And so now this entire column is forced, and these are a 7, 9. And so now these are a sum to 13. That's not 4, 9 or 6, 7. So it's got to be 5, 8, I believe. Oh, it's true. I don't necessarily know that these are different regions, right? These are just actually more properly marked as gray slashes, I believe, than colors. Oh, sorry, but this gray slash does at least definitely go over there. We can... oh, what did I do? Sorry, I meant to get rid of the colors, not the slashes. So we can get rid of those colors. Okay, so this is a sum to 7 that's not 2, 5. So yeah, so this is either 1, 6 or 3, 4. We don't know which one yet. This is part of a sum to 15, so we definitely extend out that way. Now, therefore, this is part of a sum to 6. So this digit's certainly at most 6. And we know it's never a 5. Oh, it's not a 1 either. It's not a 2 either, actually. Okay, so this is part of a sum to 6, but that means it has to extend one further. Now, if I contemplate what the sum to 6 is, you can notice that if I make this a 3, I actually am broken because I only have numbers bigger than 3 left. 4, I'd need a 1 or a 2, but those are already gone. So in fact, this is always a 6, which means that's always gray. These sum to at least 11. If these did sum to 11, that would make this number a 4. Assuredly, that makes this number a 1, 2, 3, or 4. This could continue 1 over, I suppose. Okay, that's not the 21 sum. That could be the 21 sum. Okay, this number here is at least 3. Oh, this number here is at least 3, but it's part of a 6 sum. So this number here can't be, well, it can't be 1, 2, or 6. Wait. Isn't this broken? This number is part of a... Oh, no, sorry. This is not part of a 6 sum. That's the problem. This is that cell. Right. This is that cell. Right. Okay. Yes, it's part of the question mark. Okay. But I do think I can probably argue that this cell is gray. Because if this cell was not gray, all of these would be digits. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this would just be a region, which I'm sure breaks in some quick way, like that the region doesn't have a 5 in it. So that's gray. I wanted to avoid arguing that it involved this column. Okay. So... Right. If this cell is gray, is Isabella's point for me to think about. If this cell is gray, all of these are gray, and this isn't a 9-cell region. So this cell isn't gray. I do realize that with my coloring scheme, I'm saying this cell isn't gray, so it's gray. You'll have to forgive me. Likewise, if this cell is gray, again, this becomes unable to escape. So in fact, actually, we know all of this is one region. It can be oranged. Okay, and I don't think we know about this yet. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, there's 7 digits here. So we do know that orange is going to take a 5 somewhere along this path. Somewhere in one of these cells. Okay, well, this certainly now can be its own color. I have a request for carnival cake. We will accept carnival cake. Oh, I see. Selena was actually suggesting making the gray cells carnival cake, but I think that would be a little too difficult to follow. But I'll celebrate carnival cake up here. Okay, so I'm being told that I should pencil mark these cells. I'll do that. So they're not 1, 2, 5, or 6, and they're not 7 or 9. So they're only 3, 4, 8, João points out. And so therefore, if this cell were orange, it would also have to be 3, 4, or 8. And that doesn't work. Also, it's worth noting, because these are 3, 4, 8, this sum isn't 3, 4 anymore. It's 1, 6. But it also means that that cell is gray. So we have that. Hey, Memerister, how are you doing? Thank you. Okay. 2 plus 1 doesn't seem to be 6. That is a good point. So that seems to be a 3 now, which seems to make that not a 3. I don't think that broke any of my things up here. Okay. So the cells, the digits I have left here are a 2 and a 5, for what it is worth. Let's see, these could be an 8 or a 9. Oh, yes, yellow isn't red, so they can't touch, right? Very good. We know that for sure, by the way, because they both have a 2 in them. It has to be the 5, right? The only things left in this region are 2 and 5. And so orange in column 3 just has to be the 5, right? And so there is a 5 in one of these cells with a 2 immediately next to it. Because it certainly can't be the 11 or the 12. So yeah, so there's a 5 in orange here, and there's a 2 in orange here. And if that's the 5, then red, I think, does have to be the 11. I think you're correct. Sorry, not the 11, the 12. Red has to be the 12, right? And so I can't... Oh, sorry, this could be a 9. Okay, this is going to be the question mark, and so I need an 11, and the only place the 11 can go is these two cells exactly. And so those two cells exactly, and they need to be separated. They might still be in the carnival cake region, but they do need to be kept apart from orange and everything. So we can sort of mark those. That's going to be, sorry, carnival cake. So now this is a sum to 15 that can't be any more cells long because so that is in fact carnival cake as well, but it has a 6 in it. And so if it were a 5-cell sum to 15, it would need to be that. These are a sum to 9 that assuredly doesn't have an 8 in it. Hey, AFK. Because if it had an 8 in it, then that would create a problem. And so now these are 1 and 3. If we look over there. So we've got that. Okay, now I need to make a sum to 9 here. If it were a 2-cell sum to 9, it can't be a 3-cell sum to 9. If it were a 2-cell sum to 9, what would it be? It couldn't be 4, 5. It couldn't be 3, 6. It can't be 2, 7 because there's already a 2 in red. And it can't be 1, 8 because there's already a 1 in red. So it just can't be a 2 or a 3-cell sum. It's got to be a 1-cell sum to 9. The 9 there is 12 minus 3, by the way. That 12 minus that 3. So that is a 9. This digit, I think, can still be 8. In fact... Oh, there's an 8 somewhere in this column, but there's actually, I think, multiple places that it could be. Okay, so these two digits need to sum to 11. I'm trying to see if they could be pink, because if they are pink, then that's the last digit of pink. And if they are not pink, oh, your claim is that if I look at red, I can't actually extend red 1 more, because if I extend red 1 more, it would make these two sum to at least 10, because 4 and 6 are the next two smallest digits of red, so that this is always gray, and therefore this is always red, and therefore this is not the 2, and therefore this is not the 5, and therefore this is the 5, and this is the 2. These are done. That is gray, and that is gray. Because now this region is done as a region. Okay, so as an 11, these aren't 2, 9 or 3, 8. So they're 4, oh, and they're not 5, 6. They're 4, 7. So, okay, yeah. So this can't be pink because then pink wouldn't have a 2 in it. Because then pink would be all of these cells, and this pink would have no 2. So that actually tells me that this is gray. This thing can inherit a color. It can be green, as we watch through there. And so then pink can, sorry, carnival cake can sneak out over here. That does place a gray here. Carnival cake can sneak out over here. Carnival cake does still have 1 more cell in it. Somewhere in this column, there is a 10. Red has to keep growing through here. This has to be an 8 to make this work out. These digits, just if I write down what's left in red, we've got 1, 2, 3. We still need a 4. We've got a 5. We need a 6 and a 7. Oh, and this is a sum to 10, if you look at it, because we've got a question mark and then a sum to 10. So these have to be 4, 6. That's gray. This is the last cell in red, and it's a 7. Okay. So that doesn't sum to 10 for what it's worth. Oh, this 4, 6 actually sorts out this 1 and this 6 while we're at it. Let's see. What is this going to be? Let's see. This is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 6 or an 8 only. For what it is worth. Let's see. There's an 8 somewhere. Okay, the 8 is not a 1-cell 8. And so it's a 2 or a 3-cell 8. Well, if I can't use 2 or 3 in a 3-cell 8, it's definitely a 2-cell 8. Well, it's not a 2, 6. So it's a 1, 7 or a 3, 5. Well, it can't be a 3, 5 here. For the funny reason that there's already a 5 in pink. So it's a 2-cell sum to 8 that can only be in yellow, which is there. And so these are a 1, 7 is what we have learned. Okay, so this could be 2, 6, 7, and it could end there. So that could be gray. If that's gray, though, it's broken, because if that's gray, then yellow is forced to be a 5-cell 15 sum with a 6 or an 8 in it, and that doesn't work. So this is never gray. This is always yellow, regardless of what else is happening. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if this is the 13. Let's see, there's the 10. I know there's a 7 later somewhere. I know there's an 11 in here somewhere. It's not that one. Yeah, I was assuming the 10 in column 5 could be either of these, but apparently not. Let's see, if I try and put the 10 in yellow, it breaks. So it certainly couldn't be a 3-cell sum. It would have to be a 2-cell sum. But it would be a 3, 7 or a 4, 6, right? So the 1 and 2 in yellow are gone. So it can't be a 3-cell sum, because that would mean the minimum sum would be 3, 4, 5, which is 12. But the point is, both 2-cell sums that are available are claimed by the column. That's very cute. So therefore, this is my 10 sum. And so this is 1, 9 or 2, 8 are the options. These digits, by the way, just happen to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That one is not a 7. That one's not a 2. Okay, if this were pink, these would be 2, 4, 7, 9. What's 2 plus 4 plus 7 plus 9? 2 plus 4 plus 7 plus 9 is, I think, too many. 6 plus 16 is 22. Right. So if this were pink, this sum would be 22. That would be 30. I'd only have 15 left. That doesn't work. So if this is pink, it breaks the 21 clue in the row, is the point. Right. And so if pink goes up now, I can't get to the 10 clue because that would be the last cell in pink. So in fact, this is the last cell, sorry, in carnival cake. So these are both gray. That is green now because green isn't done yet. These probably don't sum to 25. These probably don't sum to 25. Which means I'm going to need to get a yellow grouping to sum to 25. And you can't get to 25 in 3 because 987 is only that. So actually we need a 4-cell sum for the 25, right? And that's going to be all of yellow. Okay. This is a 2, 4, 7, or 9 for what it's worth. Okay, these sum to 25. Plus 10 is 35, which means that these two sum to 10. And so this is either a 2 or a 4, but there's already a 2. So this has got to be 6 and 4. It'll be 6 and 4 there, which tells me neither of these is a 4. Okay, and this 1, 7 looks up and actually tells me that this is a 9 and that's a 2. So these are actually a 4, 7 pair. Right. Once I know that this can't have a 2 in it, these two sum to 10, so it is 1, 9 is what it is. So now I'm a little concerned that if I make this a 7... Yeah, if I make this a 7, there's not going to be 21 worth of digits left, because that would make these sum to 26, which would only leave 19 worth of digits left. That's not 21, so this needs to be a 4 and a... Sorry, this needs to be a 4 and a 7, if I do that correctly. Okay, and so now if I count what's left, I've got... That is 17, 21, 23. Okay, so I need everything but 1 to still exist in the row. And so that's 4 digits. So yes, it's 4 digits that are everything but 1. And so that would be 3, 5, 6, 7 is my way of making my sum to 21. Just double checking if that really is 21. Yeah, so we've got a region pooking into there somewhere. Okay, what is this digit? Let's see. It seems like it... Oh, no, it can't be a 2. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it can be 5. I think it can be 6. It can't be 7, 8, or 9. So this is only a 5 or a 6 for what it's worth. Oh, I can fill in this quadruple. Why not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and so in that quadruple, this is a 3. Which actually means this digit is not any of those things. So this digit could be a 2. It can't be a 3, a 4, a 5. It could be a 6. It can't be a 7, 8, or 9. So yeah, so this is 2 or 6. So if this were green, it would also be 2 or 6. So it would be 6, and that would be 2. Oh, we can do this row's math as well. So, the 21 sum needs to come from digits, let's see, so those sum to 16, 17, a minimum of 22. So we've got 23 to play with, basically. And so Selena's point is, if this is a 6, then we've got 22 to play with, which would mean we'd have to omit the 1 from the row, but we know there is a 1 in the row. So that doesn't work. And so, therefore, we actually know that this can't be a 6. It has to be a 5, right? And the remaining digits in the row, the thing we omit is the 2, because these sum to 13 plus 9 is 22. Yeah, so we're missing a 2. So over here, in terms of things we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Sorry, not 5. 3, 4, 6, 8 is my sum to 21 over here. Now that's kind of interesting, because it means I definitely can't have these sums be in the same place. And I need these two to be part of that. So these are always part of my 3, 4, 6, 8. I'm going to just get rid of the corner marks because I figured out where I could mark that. And so that means these are both gray, for what it's worth. I wonder where the 10 is going in this row. The 10 in this row has to go over here now because of that. And the 10 is not 3, 7, or 4, 6. So that's 1, 2, or 8, 9. And I can't have that be part of it. So therefore, this comes over. And these are my 3, 4, 6, 8. And, well, this isn't green for lots of reasons, not least of which is it would make green huge. So the green comes down like that. Okay, so we've got that over there. These can be granted colors. Well, at least, yeah, these can be granted colors now. This can be... which color have I not used yet? Blue. And this can be mahogany. Let's see. So these numbers, for what it's worth, are something, something, and something. Let's see. Oh, I think I know this is a 2 or a 6, is what I think I know. So it could still be a 2, except it can't. It can't be 3, 4, 5. It could be a 6. It can't be 7, 8, or 9. Okay, so yeah, this is a naked 6. That's a 2. Now green has 2 more digits. And the 2 more digits in green are 3 is one of them, and 8 is the other. So this is 3 or 8. And the other digit in green is a 3 or 8. Okay. Think we can quite do that yet. Blue gets its 4 and a 3-cell sum in row 1 is the answer to Martin's question. Because blue does have a 4. Well, I should say there is a sum to 10 up here somewhere. And that sum to 10 must be blue. Because if it's anything but blue, then we've got to cram another region in here, and that doesn't work. And so that sum is... Oh, it's not that. That sum is 2, 8, right? I think that sum is 2, 8, actually. Sorry, I was thinking it was a 3-cell sum. Somehow there's a 2-cell sum up here that's 2, 8. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I could actually sneak blue down here to get a 4 from here is what I'm going to have to do. While having the 2, 8 piece correct. Okay, so there's a 2, 8 up here. Martin says no. Oh, I can fit both things in row 1 is what's being said. I could do that. Okay, yeah. So I can do both things in row 1. Okay, so I don't think we can do anything with anything yet is the point. Yeah, we can have 2 separate instances of blue in row 1 and it's okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay, the reasoning was sound, though, that there is a 2-8 sum in row 1 is the 10 sum, because it's the only way to make 10. You can't do any 3-cell or 4-cell sum. So there is a blue 2-8 sum, so there's not a blue 2-8 sum up there. And if you look at what this digit can be, this digit can only be 2. It's the only digit not yet in the row, but we know that there's a blue 2-8 sum up there, so we know that this cell is gray. And so there is a 2-8 sum up here, and there's a 4. And in fact, there's a 2-8, there's a 4, and right, the other digit is in this row, right? We know there's a last 3, 5, 6, 7. We just don't know where it goes. So blue has 4 cells in row 2, 2 cells in row 3, and 3 cells that we know about in row 1. So therefore, this cell's sorry, no. So therefore, this cell's gray. That's not true. This cell could still be brown if it went this way. Okay. But the 10 comes before the 8, is worth noting. Sorry, the 10 comes before the 4. So the 2-8 comes before the 4, for what it's worth. Yeah, I don't know that we can do a lot with this mess yet. Yeah, I was looking at this earlier. Do I know for sure that I'm not sticking another region here? Because it would be really convenient, of course, if I knew that I had to do that. But it seems to me like there's 2 ways to get 3 segments into this row. Is the question, can this really be gray? Because if this is gray, then I know I've got, let's see, that's 11. These could be 3, 4. That would be 18. I'd still have plenty of space left for a 17, I think. Yeah, I could still have an 8, 9. And it would be okay. Let's see. Oh, right. This is just a sum to 15. It's just given that the first segment is a sum to 15, so I need to make that a 7 and not a 1. Sometimes I mentally add ... dots to clues when I read them and conclude that I can't do anything with them. That is a common Zeta thing to do. Oh, thanks, Salima. Thank you for the wishes. Have a great night or morning or whatever time it is where you are. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so the 2 remaining digits are in green are 3, 8. So conveniently, if this is the last green digit, then that does add to 17. If this is the last green digit, then it's the other 3, 8. And then who knows what happens. Let's see. We've got our 10 there. We've got our 21 here. We know there's a 15 before an 8. Could I possibly do a 15 and an 8 like that? I think I could. It would, of course, be much more natural to have that be the 8 and then do it that way, but I don't see any reason we couldn't have a mahogany 15 in here somewhere. Oh, so the point is, what digits could these be? If this cell is brown, what digits can it basically, if these cells are brown, what digits can they actually be? And the answer is they can be 1, they can't be 2, they can't be 3 or 4, they could be 5, they can't be 6, they can't be 7, they can't be 8, and they can't be 9. So they could, yes. So in fact, the only things available are 1 and 5. And so, indeed, there is no way that I can fit a 15 sum in here. And so that means this has to be the 15 sum, so that's the 8. Let's see. So now the 8 sum. Yeah, it can't be 1, 3, 4. It can't be 8. So it's got to be 3, 5 is the only way to make the 8 sum, and it has to be over here. Right? I think that's true. Yeah, and it's not mahogany because mahogany already has one. So yeah, so it's got to be 3, 5. It's got to be over there. Okay. Hey, Paul Fly, how are you doing? Three, 4. Yeah, so if there's a digit here, it's a 1. Is the only digit it can possibly be. Ah, right. Kerbon is right. If green goes right, now brown is trapped. And so we can't do that. So in fact, green has to finish like that. Right, because this mahogany is going to have to come down like that at least, because it can get at most 1 cell in each of these places. That would be 6. It still needs more cells, and they can only come from here. And yeah, we can give this a color. Let's go with Hunter. We haven't had a visit from Hunter in a little bit. And we already said we know that if there's a mahogany cell in this row, it has to be a 1. It's the only digit it could be. And so in particular, there's not a second mahogany cell in the row. Okay, and so now, right, now Timotab is correct. Now we know that this is my 2, 8 up here. This is my other 3, 5, 6, 7. And there's a 4 up in one of these 2 spots. That cell is gray. That cell is gray. Oops, sorry, gray. This is right. This is the other 3, 8, points out Matt Laffey. And so that makes that a 2 and that an 8. One of these 2 is the 4 of Bluton. Oh, thank you, AFK. Greatly appreciated. Oh, these aren't 3, 8, of course, just by Sudoku if I want to mark it. It'll probably be useful at some point. Okay, so now I need a 17 in this row somewhere. That 17 can't be these 2 cells. And so the 17 has to be these 2 cells, meaning that these 2 cells have to be Hunter. And be 8, 9. Because I couldn't make it more than 2 cells in mahogany. And mahogany already has an 8, so I can't do a 2-cell 17 sum. So that's my 17 sum. which means that cell is also mahogany. That 8, 9 looks over and makes that a 3 and an 8, that a 4 and a 3. Can remove the gray from Hunter. Okay. This digit, I probably know what it is. It's not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it's a 6 or a 7, and it's not a 6 either, because there's already a 6 in this row, so it's a 7. Remaining in mahogany, we've still got a 2 to place. We've got 3, the 4. We've still got a 5 to place. We've got the 6, the 7, the 8, and we've still got a 9 to place. The 2, 5, or 9. Okay, I do still need to find a place to stick an 8 sum somewhere in this column. Okay. I do need an 11 sum somewhere in this row. Let's see. Is it impossible to do it in green? Yes, it is impossible to do it in green, right? So if I tried to do it in green, it would be a 2-cell sum, but there are no 2-cell sums available once you combine the digits that are in green and the 7 in the row. So it needs to appear in mahogany, which is going to extend Hunter down a bit further. And so these are going to need to be 2, 9. And now mahogany only has 1 digit left, and it is a 5. So one of these things is the mahogany 5. Okay, in particular, the mahogany 5 definitely is not a 7. Okay, this cell, it can be 1, it can't be 2, 3, could be 4. Can't be 5, can't be 6, 7, 8, or 9. So this is only 1 or 4, for what it is worth. This cell, interestingly, isn't 1 or 4. It could be 2. It can't be 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. It can be 7, and it can't be 8 or 9. So this is a 2 or a 7, for what it's worth. I think, though, if I make this a 2, I think I break the 7 clue in this row. Because if I make this a 2, then that's not part of my 7 sum, because I can't do 1, 2, 4, and I'd have to somehow cram a 7 clue in here, but there's no place to put the 7 clue, because the 5 is the last digit. So this actually has to be a 7, with that being gray. And that being Hunter as well. Okay, and so now this digit, if I look at it, is from... I don't think there's a place I can put a new region, is there? Oh, single 7 there. Yeah, sorry, you're right. I absolutely could have a single 7 there. Right. There is a place. I missed it, but there is a place. Yep. Let's see. I see. Okay, so, right. So, yeah, so if this Hunter's group doesn't sum to 18, Garion points out that then I would need to fit an 18 and a question mark down here, and I just can't, because 18 is a minimum of 3 cells anyway, so I'd have nowhere near enough room. So this needs to sum to 18. Now I'm going to have a really hard time doing that if I make this cell also Hunter. I guess, no, that's not true. I could make it 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. Oh, David! Happy birthday to the one and only Moriarty of the Sudoku community. Welcome to 2025. Thank you, David. Let's get you a donation dance. Boop 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 boop. Woohoo! Boop 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 boop. Woohoo! Ba da ba da ba da ba da. Woohoo! Ba ba. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. So yes, certainly if this is a 7 plus 8, that is too big. So this is definitely a 2. And so that 7 has to be in the new region, because again, I can't make this sum to 7. Okay, and so we've got our last region, the deep sea, if you will. Okay, and so this is a deep sea 7. This is a mahogany 5. This is gray. Mahogany is done. We can extend hunter and deep sea, like so. Okay, and so now this is definitely done, because we already said the only way that we could make this work was as this with an 8 and a 9, and this being a 1 or a 4. And this now continues over here. And so that is a 1 and a 9 now. Let's see. We've got some places that aren't 5 anymore. We've got a place that's not 7 anymore. Let's see. This is only got 2 digits it can be at most. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 and 7 are the digits that are left. Oh, yeah. And actually, I know where the last place is for hunter. And I know those are a 6, 7 pair. Which gives me the 3 up here. Which gives me the 7 here. Okay. And at the bottom of this column, we have an 11. And it's not these 2 cells, so it's these 2 cells. And so these 2 cells must be part of our deep blue sea region. Let's see. Oh, right. Deep sea has to make it all the way over to here at least, because there's another clue in this column. Do I know what this sum is? It's not 4, 7, or 5, 6, or 2, 9. So this is 3, 8. In fact, I actually know is my sum to 11. So this is not 3 or 8. It is 4 or 6. Let's see. Do I know anything about this digit? It's not 1, 2, 3. Could be 4. It's not 5, 6, 7, or 8, or 9. Okay, so this is just a naked 4, which places the 4 in regular blue, which makes that a 6, makes that a 4, a 3, and an 8. Okay. My sense is that if I made this part of the deep blue sea, it would make it impossible to connect this region, because I would only have 2 more cells, and I can't connect these in 2 cells. So that's also gray. And the same is would be true if I made this part of the deep blue sea, because then I still need those sorts of things. So there we go. So we have that. Likewise, if this was in there, then that would be the whole thing. Yes, efficient is a great word when we talk about this sort of thing. But the 11 sum here is at the bottom, Garian, because it's a ... followed by an 11. So it's not a ... followed by an 11 followed by another ... Okay. Apologies, Gary, and you got that explanation like 16 times, both from me and the other streamers, or sorry, the other viewers. Okay, so someone was asking about 1s. So none of these cells can be 1. These cells already aren't 1. That's not 1. That's not 1. Uh, that's not 1 and that's not 1. So I think this is the only place that we can get the deep blue 1. Which gives me a 4 and a 1 over there. Okay. We haven't done the 8 in this column yet, so this is going to have to be part of an 8, and it can't be a 1-cell 8 because there's already an 8. So this is going to have to be, it's going to have to be a 2-cell 8, in fact. And so there's only one more cell left, and it has to go there. And so that has finished our regions. Okay, so what is my 2-cell 8? It's not 4, 4. We've already used that one. It's not 1, 7. It's not 3, 3, 5. So it's 2, 6, right? I think 2, 6 is the only option. And I think we even know the order of our 2, 6. 9, 2, 5, 6. And so we can look at what is left in the deep blue sea. 2, 3, 4. We still need a 5. 6, 7, 8, and we still need a 9. And so that is the 5. That is the 9. So no 9 there, no 5 there. Yes, and now there is a 13 clue, which if you look at it, must be this one, because I'm certainly not making these sum to 13, and so therefore that is an 8, a 5, a 9, a 3, and an 8. Very nice puzzle. I enjoyed that one quite a bit. So great setting there, and a fun little romp. I like this way of setting sort of deconstructions. This is sort of a neat way to sort of do something adjacent to a chaos construction without the messy parts of chaos construction. Alrighty, I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back in a moment with another puzzle. So see you all shortly. All right, welcome back. I'm going to do this 6x6 by Alima, dedicated to my birthday. So always appreciate that. So we have normal rules for everything. These are double arrows. So that means the sum of the digits on the line is the same as the sum of the digits in the circles. And this quadruple is interesting because it tells me that these are all from 1 to 4 and definitely have a 2 on each side. Because I can't put the 1 and 4 on the same dot, but then 1 and 4 in a 6x6 only go with 2. So we have that. Over here. Let's see. I do know that these middle numbers and these one cell things, they have to be at least 3. And in fact, this one actually, if I look at it, I know neither of these circles is 2. So this has to be at least 4. But 4 doesn't even work because a 4 would require a 1, 3, and that would break this. So this is actually only a 5 or a 6. Let's see. Can I say a similar thing about this one? I don't know that I can right away. Yeah, okay. Garion has the nice way to look at it. I was about to say this in a way messier way than the way that Garion said it. But if these are 1, 2, it means these are at least 3, 4. That's too big. So that has to be 2, 4, which means that has to be 1, 2. And now 2, 4 kills both ways to make a sum of 5. Well, I'm not sure if stream is going to end immediately after this, but I wanted to at least do the birthday puzzle today. So I'm going to do it now. So this is 1, 5, and that is a 3. Just to finish up. Okay, so this is a 1. That's a 6 for what it's worth. Let's see. Okay, well, this isn't a 3 anymore because now this digit is at least 3. So this digit is at most 2, right? Because yeah, if this were as large as 3, it would definitely overflow. So this is only a 1 or a 2. If this is a 1, then the sum is just 6. And if this is a 2, the sum is just 3. So funnily enough, this is always a 3 or a 6. I don't know that I can do a giant amount with that, but why not? Let's see. This number, on the other hand, has to be moderately large. Because it can't be a 1 or a 2, or I need to make these two things sum to 3. So this is at least a 4. So this is always a 4, 5, 6. Let's see. Interestingly, if the 6 in box 4 is either going to go here or it's going to go here, going here is maybe not quite as bad as it sounds. Okay, we've got 2, 4, 5, 6s in the column. If this is a 4, 5, 6, then these are both from 1, 2, 3. That seems too small, because these could sum to at most 5. I guess maybe we could just squint and make that work. Oh, we could talk about parity. That's reasonable. So yeah, if you look at the sum of this column, it's the sum of the circles plus this line plus the sum of these two circles plus this line. except now I've counted everything an even number of times, except for this, which I counted. Sorry, I counted everything an odd number of times, except for this, which I counted an even number of times, right? Didn't I count? I counted each line once, and I counted each circle once, except for this one, which I counted twice. So that even number is the sum of everything in the column plus this number, which means this number has to be a 1, is the point. Oops. Okay, so this is now a 3, 4, or 5. That is cute, yeah. But Paul Fly and Selena were saying you could see it as these have an even sum, so therefore these have an odd sum. So they have different parities, so this needs to be odd. That is a nicer way to see it. Of these two is 1. Oh yeah, 1 in column 6 is placed. Very good. And so that tells me the parity of this cell by the same trick. So these have an even sum. So these have an odd sum. The sum of all the digits is odd. Therefore, this digit has to be even, and it's not a 2. So this is only a 4 or a 6 for what it's worth. Possibly not very much. I guess I can mentally go through what the sums are, because it's 20 minus 4 over 2 or 20 minus 6 over 2. 20 minus 4 over 2 is 7. 20 minus 6 over 2 is... Sorry, 20 minus 4 over 2 is 8. 20 minus 6 over 2 is 7. So the sum is 7 or 8. Well, one of these is definitely a 5, I guess, because what we're saying is that this digit is 1 more than... Oh, no, that's not true. Sorry, this could be a 3 and a 4. Yeah, are we supposed to ask something like, where does this go in this box kind of thing? I'm not sure. Or use that we have sort of an extra region here, owing to the fact that this Renbon has each digit once. And so if I mark this extra region, maybe it will be useful. Uh, That's true. Garian's pointing out we can corner mark 2 in one of these cells. So that's not, so those aren't 2 and those aren't 2. So one of these is 2. That's true. Uh, uh, yeah, so 2 in green is up here. Yep. Okay, so these cells can't be 1. So any cell that one of these 3 things all sees isn't 1. So like that cell isn't 1. If you like. Yeah, 1 in box 3 is in one of these 2 cells. Uh, so the Josh's point, yeah, Selena has phrased Josh's point in a way that I understand. One of these 2 is a 1, and both of these cells see both of these cells. Because this cell sees that one by Sudoku and that one by green, and this cell sees that one by Sudoku and that one by Renbon. So neither of these can be 1. So what Josh is saying is just one of these 2 cells is 1, and therefore that's a 2. I see. It's a 6. That's not a 4. That's not a 6. Okay, but this is odd, so therefore this is even. So that's a 4 and a 3. I see why I didn't successfully prove that this was not a 3 and a 4 like I was trying to do. Okay, well, this can't be a 5, because if this is a 5, neither way of making this sum to 6 will work. So this had better be a 6. I could also do that with something like parity in some of the columns or something, probably. So now these are 2, 5 in some order. This digit is known. It is a 5. This being a 2 sounds really promising. Yeah, this is assuredly a 2. Let me fill these in. So these are 3, 4, 5. That's not a 3. Yeah, so 2 times the sum of these 2 plus 7 is 21, is the way to think about it. And so, therefore, 2 times the sum of these is 14, which means the sum of them is 7, which means that's a 2. That's the way to do it. That I think works out nicest. Okay, and so now I think, oh, we could mark, except mark is gone for some reason. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a 5. 1, 2, 3, these are 4 and 6. These are 3 and 4. these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are 1, 3, 5, 6. And so I can't repeat a 4 or a 6 anywhere on the Renbon, so that's not a 4, and this isn't a 6, which makes it a naked 3, in fact. Which seems to make that a 1, which seems to make that a 5 and a 6. Seems to make that a 4 and a 6. Seems to make that a 1. 4 and a 3, 4 and a 3. That was very clever. I am quite impressed by that 6 by 6. Very nice. Yeah, the trick with the 1 was really cool once we finally sort of figured out how to articulate it. Alrighty, I'm going to take a quick break, and I will do another puzzle after this. I'll probably do like a 2-star puzzle or something. So see you all in just a moment. All right, welcome back. We've got a fuchsia puzzle up next. We just did something with double arrows. So often I like it when there's sort of a like one thing in common, puzzle to puzzle. So we still have our double arrows. The blue things here are modular lines, so we need to make sure each 3 digits have one of each column of a keypad. So 1147, 1258, and 1369. And then we have our Renbons, which give us a string of 3 consecutive digits. And we have our quadruples, which tell us that these are from 1, 2, 7, 8. These are from 5, 6, 8, 9. These are from 4, 6, 8, 9. And these are from 6, 7, 8, 9. So the thing I know is that length 3 Renbon always have a sum that is a multiple of 3. And so that means that these 2 circles sum to a multiple of 3. But if you look at the coloring, they can't be themselves a multiple of 3 because that would make both of these things the others. So in fact, if I color this modular line, then just in some randomish colors, then that is yellow and that is green. What I know is that these are actually the opposite pair, the none multiple of 3 versions. So these are from 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, which actually makes this one for sure a multiple. It is 3, 6, or 9. So that one is the multiple of 3, 1. And we can do exactly the same trick over here, where we can say these aren't multiples, which is a little more helpful. These aren't multiples of 3. So that's not a 6 or a 9. That's not a 6 or a 9. And that one is. So that is 3, 6, or 9. Now, these are different. So one of them is 8, is the conclusion, because 4 and 7 are the same thing. I'm just sort of mentally mapping this coloring over to here. So thank you, Pink Maple. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the chat. So yeah, one of these two is 8, which at least tells me these aren't 8. Let's see. This number is pretty big, so I guess I can write that these are always from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For whatever that is worth. Okay, likewise, that is for sure. So I'm just going to try and highlight the multiples of 3 in blue. This is for sure a multiple of 3. And this is for sure a multiple of 3 of some description. And likewise, I can still never put a multiple of 3 at the end here, so this is never 6 or 9. It is always 5 or 8. Oh, okay. So that's actually nice here. This is always 5 or 8. There we go. That's where I was supposed to start. So this can't be the same. Remember, they have to be opposite ends. So this is not a 2, 5, or 8. This is a 1 or a 7. If you like. And so I can actually map that down to say that this number is always a 2, 5, or 8. And this number is always a 1, 4, or 7. People are suggesting I might think about things other than mod 3 arithmetic in this puzzle. Like the fact that if I make the some of these... see, Emma thinks I've done something wrong. But that if I make... yes. If I make this 9, 8, 7, there are problems with making the sum of these two cells 24 because neither of them can be 9. So therefore, that's not a 9, I believe, is the thing that we would like to contemplate. Likewise, this assuredly is not a 9. And even an 8 is too big because 8, 7, 6 is still 21. And the maximum sum of these is 15. And so 6, 5, 4 would just work. Likewise, these can't have a 9 on them. The largest sum of these is also 15, so these can't have a 9, an 8, or even a 7 on them. 7, 6, 5 is still too big, which actually tells me that this is a 6. And I can turn on my row column labels again. So this is a 6. And we can bring out Zach for the famous 6y dance. Boop boop doop. Wop 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 wop. Boop boop doop. Wop 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 wop. Boop boop doop. Wop 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 wop. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Okay, so neither of these things can be a 6. This is blue, just for the record. This is not. This is not either. This I actually know isn't blue as well, but I don't know if I really want to mark that. I don't know how eager I am. Oh, actually, I know what the sum of these numbers is. The sum of these numbers is 15. And so these need to add to 15, so this had better not be a 4. So actually, that's an 8, and that's a 7, which actually makes that a 9, if I look at it. Makes that an 8. Oops, sorry, an 8. An 8. There we go. We got there eventually. That is not an 8, and that's not an 8 either, because we know that they're, in fact, a triple. So that's a 3, we have learned. Okay, and so this is a 2, 5, or 8, and it's not an 8. So this is a 2 or a 5, and this is a 1, 4, or 7. Okay, for whatever that is worth. 1 has got to be too small here, right? Because then the absolute maximum I could make this sum to would be 9, whereas the minimum this sums to is 5, 4, 3 is 12. So this always needs to sum to at least 12. So this, in fact, is a 7, which means none of these 3 are 7s. Yeah, we can change yellow green to match things. I don't know if the yellow green part matters so much as the other part, but we'll go ahead and make that yellow and this green. And so that is yellow and that is green. This is therefore yellow. Okay, and this is green, and that's yellow. That might be all of my digits that I know of. And I certainly know stuff like I know all of these are green, yellow, but I don't know that I'm desperate enough to mark that yet. We've previously noted this can't be 8. 8 is too big, so this is a 1 or a 2. So therefore, one of these two is 8, actually, if you look at the quadruple. So this is never 8. Oh, there might be some Sudoku happening with 7s. Yeah, right. We can't put a 7 here, remember, because it would be 765 is already too big. And so, owing to that not being able to be a 7 per Mekti, we can rule 7 out of everywhere except here. So that's a 7, which means that these two need to sum to 8. So, assuredly, that is not a 9. It is a 3 or a 6. That's not a 7. These need to sum to a minimum of, I guess 9 is the minimum. Never mind. I was going to say something that was not actually, well, maybe it was true, but it wasn't very useful. Of those is a 9. Okay, this actually doesn't sum to very much at all, because these either sum to, given that 1 or a 2, these sum to either 6 or 9. I guess the 9 option still allows a fair... So they either have to be, 1, 5, 2, 4, or 1, 8, or whatever. I guess, yeah, there's still a reasonable amount of optionality, I suppose. Yes, yes, yes. Garion points out this can't be 6, because if this is a 6, then what goes with it, in order to not break the Renbon, remember, I can't go as high as 7, so I'd have to go 4 and 5, but that would break this cell. Very nice. Okay, so that's a 4. That makes these a 6-9 pair, which looks at that and says that is a 3 and a 5, because those two had to sum to 8. Okay, so these are either 3, 2, or they are, well, I was going to say one of them is a 3, but maybe I don't know that. Maybe they could be 5, 6. If these are 5... Oh, no, sorry. They can't be 5, 6. There's no 6. There we go. Okay. So one of these is a 3, because if I don't go as high as 6, I have to go as low as 3. And if one of these is a 3, it's that one, because there's already a 3 in this box. Okay, so that's blue. That is green. That is not a 4. Okay, and so this is either 2 or 5. It's the other one. Okay. Yes, that's a good spot. This being 5 and this 6 both make this digit 8 in different ways, points out Mekti. Because if this is a 6, then this has to be 6, 5, 4 to make the sum 18. On the other hand, if this is a 5, it just outright makes this an 8 by Sudoku. So this is always an 8 in both universes. That is a very clever spot. Okay, and so that means that this is always a 4, 5, 6. As Renbon go. Means this digit is not 4, 5, or 6. Think about that. Okay. So I know one of these is blue, for whatever that is worth. Uh, 8 in row 1 is place. Thank you, Martin. Which does say one of these two is 8, I suppose. These are both blue, I suppose I should mark. Yes. Right. Timotab's point is one of these cells has to be a 3 because there's no way this Renbon doesn't go through 3, but that one can't be a 3, so therefore this is the 3. And this is a 1, a 2, or a 4. Okay, so Selena's point is these are a 4-5 pair, so these cells can't be 4-5. If I write out what they're allowed to be, they can't be 4 or 5 because they see both 4 and 5. And so if I then sort of fill in the other sphenage, then I actually will realize that the 4 in this box always goes in this column and not there. So this is, in fact, always where the 4 in this box goes. 4 is green. So therefore, this is 5, and hence yellow. So this is not 5. That's not 5. It's not 4. So the yellow digit here is 2 or 8, I suppose, is what I know. That one's not a 5. That one's not a 4. These are a 5-6 pair now, Emma has noted, which has made this a 4. Which places 4 here, actually, if you look, by Sudoku, which makes this a 2. Which means neither of those is a 2. Those are a 1-8 pair in some order. So these do sum to 9 for whatever it's worth. So they're not 4-5. However, I think they could be 2-7 or 3-6. 3 in box 3 is placed, points out Mekti. How many 3s is that? Okay, it's not as many 3s as I thought maybe it was. I mean, I guess I know these numbers sum to 6. So these are either 2-4 or 1-5, right? Because the sum of this line is 9, so that's a 3. So these are either 1-4 or 2-5. Sorry, 1-5 or 2-4. But in particular, this one's not 4 or 5, so this one's not 1 or 2. For whatever that is worth. Oh, right. It's not 3-6. That was the whole ordeal with the beginning of the puzzle, right? Okay, I now know this isn't 9. Because if this was a 9, I would need the sum to be 12 from 3, 4, 5. But that would make these a 1-2 pair. Which I cannot do. So this is certainly 3 or 6. Yeah, I know that these are a yellow-green pair, I suppose. I guess I know all of these cells are yellow-green if I want to start sort of trying to fill in my coloring in a more serious way. These are all yellow or green. That is yellow or green. One of these two... Oh, no, sorry. That one could be the 9, right? Oh, I have a 5, 6, 9 triple in column 3. The 5, 6, 9 triple that I have just noticed makes that a 3. And the 5, 6, 9 triple means that none of these are blue. Because the other blue cell is whichever of these is 6, 9. And that 6, 9, where does it go on this quadruple? It has to go there, so this has to be a 6 or a 9. Oh, and there's a 5, 6 pair in the row, which means it's not just a 6 or a 9, it's a 9. Which means that these are a 5, 6 pair, which looks up here, making that a 9 and a 6. Making this not a 6. Let's see. These are both... Yeah, these are both yellow-green. And that is the blue 9 for the box. It's the only place where 9 can now be placed in this box. Yes, this sees 9 in the... Or sorry, sees 1 in the row because there's a 1, 8 pair, points out Garion. So this is a 7. So that means these two add to 8. And they can't be 2, 6. So they have to be 5, 3. Which makes that a 6 and a 5, which will be yellow. Which makes this the other blue. There is a 7 in this box somewhere. There is a 3 in this... Oh, there's a 3 in this box, and it's placed. It's placed there. There's a 1, 2 pair in this column. And that looks down and makes that an 8, which is yellow. And this green. Okay, these two cells aren't yellow because they see all of 2, 5, and 8. So these are, in fact, a blue-green pair, which makes that cell yellow. I guess that was a really complicated way to say place 2 in this box. Anyway, that makes that a 5. Which means that the sum here is 12, so there's no 1s or 2s involved. The only way that works is that this is 8 and this is 4. Okay, and so this is green and this is yellow by stuff. Let's see. These are yellow or green because they see every blue digit. And that is yellow or green because it sees every blue digit in the row. So in fact, the 3 is just placed here. That was the last 3. It's maybe not the easiest way to place the last 3, but what are you going to do? One of these is a 9, so these are yellow-green. Just by way of saying, there's 2 more blue digits in this row, and they're there. These are a 6, 9 pair. For whatever that is worth. Timotab points out the same thing here. These are a 6, 9 pair. To finish off the box's blues. And they happen to go there and there. Let's see. Ah, yes, 9 is placed here by Sudoku, or I guess not blue is placed here by Sudoku, if you want. Because this cell, there's already 3 blues in this column, so that's the one, the last green digit. These are a 4 and a 5. Which gives us a 4-5 pair in this column. This is certainly not blue, and so therefore the 2 blues in the row are here and here, and so these are also a 6-9 pair, which means that in this column I now have all the blues, so this cell's not blue. It's green or yellow. This cell's not blue because it sees 3, 6, and 9. Oh, column 4, I didn't ever fill in the 7, apparently, which is helpful because that means I can fill in the 5. No, not the 5. The 2 here to go with it. Ah, yes, that's very big. So that means that's a 1, and so therefore it is green. And therefore that is yellow. And is a 2. And is a 2. There we go. And so the sum of this arrow is 9, so that's the 7, which is green. Okay, this cell sees 1, 4, and 7, so it's not green, it's yellow. And as a yellow, it can only be 8, and that means neither of these is yellow. That is a green, and it's only a 7, so that's a green, and it's only a 1. This is a yellow 2. Yes, yellow 2. Which means that this cell is green, making it a 1. Let's see. I can probably solve for x here because these 3 digits need to add to 9. So those add to 4, so this needs to be a 5, which is yellow. Oh, hey, Fast Sandals. 4 in box 3, Fast Sandals encourages. 4 in box 3 is in one of these 2 cells, right? Do I know which one? I don't think I know yet which one, but I will once I fill in this digit down here as a 4. And so therefore is green. And therefore that digit's a 4, and therefore is green. Oh, there's a 4, 5 pair in column 8. Right. Yeah, if I remembered about that, that would have helped. Okay, so now this isn't a 4, it's a 5, which is yellow. Okay. This cell is the naked, not yellow, because it sees 2, 8, and 5. So this cell is green. And is therefore a 1 or a 7. Oh, no, it's just a 1, because it's the last green for the row, and so this cell's not green anymore. It's yellow, and so it's a 2, which means that this cell for the box is not yellow, it's green, and therefore is a 1, which now that's all the greens in this column. So now, therefore, that's yellow, and it's 2, which is now all the yellows in this row. So therefore, that is green. And it is a 1 because it sees 4 and 7. And that means neither of these are green because the column is done with greens. So this is an 8, and that is a 2. This cell is green for the row, and it is just a 7. That's all the greens for the row, so this cell is not green, it's yellow, making it a 2, and making this cell not yellow, so it's a 4. Let's see. One of these cells is blue, and one of them is 5. Sure. This row has all its yellows, so this is a 4. Uh-oh. Has all its yellows, so this cell is not yellow, it's green, and this is a 4. Which then means that this is yellow, meaning it's an 8. This cell is not yellow and not green, so it is blue. Finishing the box coloring, making this the green 1. So this is a 6, if you look at it, and that is a 9, giving me my 6 and 9 down here, and my 6 over yonder. Let's see. Okay, so this cell is not blue because it sees 3, 6, and 9, so this cell is yellow, and this cell is blue, meaning that is a 6 and that is a 5. Now, I am only missing a blue in this column, which is a 9. I have all my greens in this row, so this isn't green, it's yellow, and it's a 5. Oops. Or it's purple, take your pick. And now this cell is green by the box. And therefore it seems to be a 7. Very nice. I enjoyed that. The insight that you couldn't put a multiple of 3 in either of these ends because it was going to sum to a multiple of 3 was a very cool conceit as sort of a starting bit of the puzzle. And I enjoyed picking that one apart. All right, but as it is my birthday, I am going to wrap up there and go have some more chocolate cake. But thank you to everyone for hanging out. Thank you for all the generous gifts today. Greatly appreciate you making my birthday a brighter birthday. So thank you all very much. If you have not yet given a gift and you'd like to, you can always become a YouTube member by clicking the $sign wherever you YouTube from. So greatly appreciated. Hey, GIM Greed, welcome. Great to see a bunch of new names around chat today, by the way. Always cool having new folks around. I hope you make it a regular part of your YouTube viewing experience. But last but not least, huge thank you to all of you who do support the stream regularly or intermittently or whatever way you do. You can always do that just by clicking the thumbs up. So please do that if you have not. And last but not least, big thank you to the Turbines, Daniel, David, Franco, Nell, Nordy, and Plonktime. Thank you all so much. I'll see you all real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.